Hello and welcome to this week's Limitless Landscapers podcast. I'm Paula, your host, and today I'm talking about the subtle art of not giving a fuck. And this has become apparently a good topic to talk about, and it's something that I have been discussing with many a client and also employing in my own daily life. So if this piques your interest, please do go ahead and listen to this week's episode. Let's go to the show.
As the co-founders of the Landscaper Circle, we help you get more money, time and freedom to become limitless through our experiences as fellow landscapers and our tried and tested methods. If you want help with your marketing, managing or growing your business, you've definitely come to the right place. If you're a landscaper, garden designer or supplier to the industry, then hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get back to the show.
Hello, lovely people. How the devil are you? Every time I'm recording a podcast at the moment, it's a lovely sunny day. So what a win. Super grateful for this. Beautiful sunny day, which means that landscaping works are going well. I hope it's going well for you guys. Today, I wanted to talk about the art of not giving a fuck, mainly because I am fed up of worrying. And I am fed up of the pressure we put on ourselves as business owners, as people, as parents. We put so much pressure on ourselves that I wanted to bring a podcast about this. We can let the really insignificant stuff get us down, which then impacts our energy, and our energy attracts what we want to attract. So it attracts like-minded energy or likewise energy. So we really need to be mindful of how we are showing up, how we are being in our lives, and the kind of energy and, the kind of buzz we're giving off. Because if you've listened to my past podcast episodes over the last few weeks, there's been a bit of a theme, and one of them does go into more detail about raising your vibration and thinking about the energy you're putting out in order to attract more of the same vibe. If you know anything about the art of manifestation or The Secret or anything, law of attraction, any of these things, it is pretty much proven that what you put out, you attract. So it's quite interesting. So I'm kind of talking about not worrying so much in essentials. So letting go of the unnecessary worries and the unnecessary expectations we place on ourselves. Now, if you're anything like me, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a business owner, I am an entrepreneur, I am a friend, I am a daughter, etc., etc. And with that comes a lot of expectation. So I always want to be the best version of myself, and I always want to succeed and excel in everything I do. Now, what's difficult is there's only me. There's me is only me, and there's not an unlimited amount of time. And we can spend a lot of that time worrying and placing this kind of expectation on ourselves. So by me placing the expectation on myself that I want to be the best at everything, essentially, I tend to not be the best at everything all of the time because I'm being pulled in so many directions. And it can, well, it can lead to so many things. It can lead to, you feeling very negative. It can lead to you feeling really overwhelmed, really stressed, really demotivated. You can feel like, what's the point in going, carrying on? You can often feel like, well, everything's going wrong, just more things are going to carry on and go wrong. And I'm here to tell you some subtle strategies about getting in a place where you don't actually care anymore quite so much. And I don't mean that in a horrible way, like very flippant. I don't care, because of course I care about everything that I'm doing, about the clients I work with, about my family, about, at the moment it's May and I have 2 children's birthdays in May within 6 days of each other. Now, who even does that? Obviously I did that to myself, and I am forever paying the price, because every year we have 2 birthday parties. Every year We have friends round for dinner after school. We have family round during like 2 weekends. And also the stress of then having to make sure that they get equal presents, that one of them doesn't feel hard done by compared to the other. Now I've decided that every year we must go on holiday around this time. Why I do this to myself, I have no idea. It's because I want to provide a life for my children that I didn't have, which is fantastic, but it comes with a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation from them, because I said to them only yesterday, can we not have a party next year? Can we just have no parties? And their answer was like, it was the end of the world. Absolutely not. And then I said, well, okay, can you have a joint party? Absolutely not. I don't like her. I don't like him. It was insane. So again, I brought this on myself because I've raised their expectations that every year they have a party, every year they see their friends, every year they get about 17 different celebrations. And now I'm just going to pay the price until they leave home. But it kind of got me thinking, because normally around this time, I'm super stressed. I am pulling my hair out, I haven't got anything organized. And what I did this year, I think it's part of developing ourselves. So I've worked a lot on personal development and growth. As you guys know, if you've been around a long time, I work with a business coach. I have a coach for my gym training and my bodybuilding journey. And I kind of have this great support network. So obviously I've got my husband who's fully supportive and in the landscaping business with me. I have a VA to support me with some of the admin stuff that comes with TLC and the landscaping business. And I kind of have surrounded myself with a bit of a support network, some really great key friends and family members that will step in and help. And it's kind of alleviated that pressure. So for me, this year is really weird because it's almost like I'm ready, but not ready. Because if you know anything about me, my friends will laugh. I leave everything to the last minute, but I don't really. So I have everything planned. So all of the party bag items are here. The party bags are here. The cakes are being made by a very good friend. You know, the parties are booked. The invites have done and come back to me. Waivers have been signed because we're going to Ninja Warrior. How exciting. And all of that is done, but I actually haven't wrapped the presents, written the cards, blown up the balloons, or anything like that. That is all happening tonight, actually, because I have one birthday tomorrow. But I'm not stressed about it because where I've pre-arranged all of this stuff, I've kind of just said, well, what will be, will be. I'm not rushing around. Normally, I would then think they haven't got enough presents. I think every mum feels like this, by the way. They haven't got enough presents, so you run around getting stuff. And this year I thought, no, I've ordered their presents. They've each got an experience and some presents to open. They've been on holiday. We've just had that this weekend. So they've just come back, had 2 extra days off school, which they absolutely loved. And it's in hand. So actually, I'm going to give myself a break and think, screw it. Whatever will be, will be. And I think this is kind of what we all have to apply to our life. Spoke to a client of mine and they're feeling very overwhelmed. They've had a lot of changes. They've been reflecting on what's been happening in their business, in their landscaping business in the last year. And they've been forecasting forward. Fantastic. But I think the key component, which I brought up with them yesterday, was working on their mindset and their energy, because at the moment it's all very much stress and what if this, what if that. And I think we need to change that to what will be, will be. We've got to be more kind to ourselves, because if we're not kind to ourselves and we place more and more expectations on ourselves, we can lead to burnout, overwhelm. Procrastination is a massive issue. I get this. If I get completely overwhelmed, I tend to procrastinate massively on quite important tasks. So it's kind of learning to let go a little bit. And how does it show up? When you place these expectations, you can excessively worry over things beyond your control. And I'm seeing this a lot. So there's a lot of doom and gloom. I spoke about it last week on the podcast about the state of the world. Well, I'm not being funny. You cannot control the politics that are happening. You cannot control the increase in prices. You cannot control any of that. What you can control is your mental ability to deal with this stuff, and that you are a small enough business that you can change and adapt to things that happen. So that is the bonus of being a smaller business. You can change, you can adapt, you can implement new things, you can diversify. And I'm going to bring you a podcast episode all about diversification in the coming weeks. But it's important to focus on things that can have an impact on your business. Sometimes we can get so overwhelmed and, you start looking around for reasons why it's all going to go wrong. So what ifs, you start overanalyzing, you start overthinking. And actually, if you went back to the facts and the figures, which means it is a good time to review sort of like your inquiry log to see where your inquiries come from, what's doing really well, what isn't. It's a really good time to reflect back on numbers in your business. How are you doing financially? If you are struggling financially, what are you doing? What are you implementing? What are you changing to take that pressure off? Because there will be ways. There is always a way out of everything. I always say, don't give me a problem, give me the solution, because there's always solutions to most problems in life. And it's no good dwelling on the what ifs, because the what ifs haven't actually happened. But if you do dwell on the what ifs, go back to a previous podcast for more on this, but if you do dwell on the what ifs, you're probably going to attract that into your life because you are constantly thinking about it, your brain believes it, it manifests itself into your reality. So it's, this kind of letting go will help you move through things such as comparisonitis. We can all look around on social media. I know most of social media is bullshit. Part of the reason I know this, obviously, we all know this really, but how many times do you filter what you are putting out on social media? I do it all the time. I don't want to put that picture out. I look awful. Jesus Christ, someone's going to notice I've got a roll of fat there. Oh my God, I don't look perfect. Oh my God, my life doesn't look as perfect as it should do. We all filter to a degree on social media. So just imagine everyone else is doing that all of the time. So it is bullshit. Stop looking, stop comparing yourself. That also leads to being a perfectionist. Like me, I have high expectations of myself in all roles of my life, not just in business, but personal life, family life, etc. So therefore, I hold myself to a point where I want to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. What someone sees is brilliant in you, you will not see yourself. We all do this. Many a time, my friends have said, wow, Paul, this is insane what you were doing, or thank you, really helped me with that. And I'm thinking, I haven't done anything. Well, you don't really know your impact on the world until other people start reflecting it back to you. And what your version of perfect is not someone else's. So just remember that. It leads, fear of failure. Many of us get into this overwhelm trap and the what ifs and the feeling like shit when we are scared of failing and we're trying to seek validation from others, which as an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever you want to call yourself, is quite often a problem, because I don't know about you, but my family doesn't understand what owning a business is. Mike's family particularly come from a family of teachers. So everybody apart from Mike is a teacher. So they don't understand what we do. They don't understand when you're stressed. They don't understand when, for instance, we won a national award for one of our driveways that we built. It's brilliant. It's a highly recognized award. We were really excited. We shared the news and it falls flat on its face because they're like, well, what do you win? Just recognition and the fact that our team are fantastic at what they do, and our clients can look to us for an award-winning project because our attention to detail is brilliant. We're nationally recognized out of X amount of projects, etc., etc. But they didn't get it. They're like, well, I don't understand what that means. It's really hard to seek validation when you're a business owner because you're in the smaller percentage of people. So other people don't understand what you do. They don't understand why you do it. They just, they've been conditioned that a job is a job and that's the way forward. So that's quite an interesting thing. So what I'm trying today, I want to go through some ideas and strategies of how you can let the fuck go and just enjoy your life. And I'm going to go through them because I think it's important. It's stuff that I've worked on myself. Don't do everything, but I try and maintain some sort of strategies, particularly when I can feel myself getting stressed. And I think it's really important that we learn not to care so much about other people and not to place so much emphasis on things like success, perfection, and everything that we get told is important in our lives. And some of the things you would have heard me before in other ways, because I've been discussing quite a few woo stuff on the podcast lately. So some of it you may or may not have heard of before, but it's things such as reframing everything. So reframing is essentially looking at things in a different way. Look at everything from a different perspective. That's how I try and use this strategy. So when I start to get stressed, and you can start to hear the voice in your head saying, "Oh, well, they're doing this, you're not, da 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 da. Look at them, they've got this opportunity. Why did they win that, do this, etc." And it's all about reframing. It's about reframing it and seeing it from the other person's perspective, from another perspective, not just the other person's, but from another perspective, a more positive perspective, and reframing the issues you are foreseeing. You need to embrace the imperfection. Being imperfect is great because we are unique. We are very unique. We are all on our unique journeys in life. There is only one you. You are you. If someone wants to work with you and buy from you, they're going to choose you because of you, not because of the logo you have or on your van, or the fact your van sign written. There's lots of things that add to the elements of you showing professionalism, but essentially it's you they buy into. So embrace any imperfections you have. Don't get hung up on it. If you make mistakes, apologize, move on, rectify them, move on. It doesn't matter. We are not born perfect. You need to focus on your own journey. So when we're looking at comparisonitis, fear of failure, that sort of thing, you need to remember you are on your own unique journey. You need to focus on that journey. And that means regularly recommitting to your goals. So thinking about regularly what your goals are, and do they still align with your vision, your mission, your values in life? Because what I found, and this has happened to me recently actually, is I created a vision board for a life that I believed I wanted. And then when I began to unpick it, it's very different. And I think it's because things have changed. I've started to change. My goals have started to change. So to recommit to your goals regularly just means bringing them more up to date. Just because you set a goal at the beginning of the year doesn't mean you can't change it. You are your own boss. You are your own navigator of this journey. You don't have to ask anyone's permission. So if you want to change that goalpost, go ahead. If it doesn't align with what you are doing right now, who cares what anyone else thinks? Just go after it. Just make sure you're recommitting to those goals regularly and making sure they align with your values and everything else. Make sure you also do not forget to celebrate the wins. We can all get so caught up in life that you forget to celebrate the basic things. So for me, I'm super grateful. This is another, to celebrate and to practice gratitude for me is a great thing. But for me, one of my dogs is 14, nearly 15 years old. She is still going strong. She came on the holiday with us at the weekend. We went to a forest holidays, amazing, by the way. Had a wonderful break. But she is old, and it has taken a bit of a toll doing that many walks and being in the car for the long journey. So, I have to be grateful that she is still around. She's still enjoying that life. And I have to celebrate the fact she's still here because, and we can all focus on the shit side of that, like the fact that she isn't going to be with me forever. She is going to get older. Her dementia is going to get worse. We may have to make some decisions, but at the moment, I'm just super grateful she's still here. I'm celebrating her life and that she can still go out and walk. She can still enjoy doing things with us as a family. So remember to celebrate even the really basic stuff that you might not think is worthwhile celebrating. Celebrate the fact that you took a couple of hours off to go to the gym or go swimming or go for a walk, or you listen to that motivational podcast that you've been putting off, or you made that commitment to get a coach or join a mastermind group or anything like that. Just celebrate these smaller wins on the journey to the bigger goals. You need to start to learn to raise your vibrations in life. And, check out the last couple of episodes I've done on the podcast, because this will all tie in rather nicely, not on purpose, by the way. I did not plan this, but it does tie in rather nicely. It's about keeping your energy high and keeping a positive expectation on life. So expect positive. Don't expect the negative. Expect that you are going to, close the quote you gave on that amazing job that you really want to win. Expect that the newest employee you've taken on will last the journey that they're meant to, and they're going to be amazing, and they're going to take some stress off of your plate. Imagine that everyone's going to rock up after bank holiday weekend with no hangovers, if that's the expectation you want to put on there. But essentially, it's all about keeping a positive expectation instead of looking for the negatives and the what ifs. And therefore, then in itself, raising your vibration. Because if you're positively expecting things, you can't be in a low vibrational state, because you're going to be naturally happy. Now, I knew a guy when I was working in leisure. So I used to be a gym membership salesperson, and then I got into the lofty heights of membership manager and senior management team. It was all very exciting. I absolutely did love my job, actually. And I had a guy who worked on my team. He was a great salesperson because he was just so nice. But the key thing, and why I'm bringing him up, is he was always happy. And I kept asking him, how are you always happy? Like, literally never, ever, ever did I see him upset. He just always had a smile on his face, and he always had this vibe around him that everything was fine, like life was great. And I just couldn't understand it. And this is going forward, I was 23, 24 then. I'm 40 now, so it's like 16 years later I finally realized what it is. And that's because he had a positive expectation on life. He woke up every day and thought life was great, and so life was, and he acted that way and gave off that vibe, gave off that energy, that everything was great. And you just wanted to be around this guy because he was so nice and so happy, and it made you feel happy. Now imagine if you could change your mindset to that. I mean, he obviously had it down pat 16 years ago. I've only just realized what he was doing then, and what we could all just start to do if you spent a little bit of time thinking about things before you go ahead. So it's kind of like thinking before you speak, thinking, just expecting more instead of expecting less, like it's all been drummed into us from a young age. I think we can all say, I know certainly my parents were like this, and I love them both, but it was always, well, you don't get anything unless you work hard, and money doesn't grow on trees, and you can't have this because of X. It's very much a lack mindset, very much a negative vibe to be in, and generally it attracted the exact same shit into our lives. There was always issues with money, always issues with budgets, always issues around not having enough. And I do believe that's a lot down to, law of attraction, manifestation, and you create what you expect. So start raising those vibrations. One way you can prevent your energy getting robbed, because we all know those people and situations which rob your energy, is to set some really firm boundaries. Again, there is an excellent episode within the Limitless Landscapers podcast about setting boundaries specifically, but it's about saying no more often to tasks and requests that do not align with your values, do not align with your goals in life, that simply you don't want to do. Now, have you been there when you've been invited to something? So we had this recently. A couple of friends of ours we haven't seen for probably a year invited us to a 40th birthday party. I'm in that age group. 40th birthday parties are a thing at the moment. And they invited us to what was his wife's 40th birthday. And initially we said yes, because we are so used to saying yes to everything, because we don't want to let people down. It seems a good idea at the time. Anyway, about a week before, Mike said to me, oh, by the way, that 40th birthday, I was like, what 40th? And he explained, and I said, well, I don't really want to go, do you? And he said, no, I don't want to go. And I said, why the hell have we said yes, we're going? They're not best friends of ours. They're not family members. We haven't seen them for months, a year. So why have we said yes? He said, I don't know, I'm going to say no. So we actually said no. And it was about putting that boundary in, because essentially for me, that would have impacted on family time. I would have had to have used a babysitter. Now, any parents out there listening to this will know how important it is not to use your babysitting days or evenings on things you don't want to go to, because there's going to be something you do want to go to in the future. And essentially, I don't even know half these people that would have been there. And I wasn't really bothered about going. I'd have rather stayed at home with my family and enjoyed myself rather than going there. So it's all about, that's a really basic boundary, but it's about also saying no to things that you don't think will align with your business. We all get presented with opportunities which we think are great. We've got to take them. You don't have to take everything. If they align with your business and they align with your goals and your mission, fine. If they don't, or you're in any way concerned, not sure, I would say no. Put that boundary in place. Other boundaries you can set, which I've also had to start implementing as the years have gone on, is when people can contact me. There was a period when I first started the business, obviously many years now, where my mum thought she could phone me at any time, any day, rock up on my doorstep and I'd be available, because obviously I worked from home or I worked for myself. So it meant I could do anything I wanted. That's fine to some degree. You can do anything you want if you work for yourself, because you set the rules, you set your time frames, you manage your own time. However, I still needed to get work done. So for her to try and contact me or drop in on the off chance I'm available, I had to start saying, no, you cannot phone me till this time. I will tell you if I'm available during the day and you want to do something. You cannot just rock up. So it's about setting quite firm boundaries that people won't like, by the way. So get used to them feeling uncomfortable, and you're probably going to feel uncomfortable to start with. Be curious. I think this is a really good one. So my friend, very good friend, Heidi, she has the Overwhelm to Ease podcast. She is an entrepreneur and she deals with overwhelm. If you went to any of the virtually limitless events me and Charlotte ran a couple of years ago, she was one of the speakers. Now, what she always said is to notice the little things. So just start noticing things, and also to be curious. So when you get presented with something that might trigger you, to be curious about it, to say, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that makes me feel a bit strange. That's curious. So it's kind of being curious about things that make you feel uncomfortable, that trigger you. We all have big triggers in life. I have many. But just to notice the feeling and be a bit more curious and open-minded about it. Because I think sometimes we can get stuck in tunnel vision. We don't look outside the box very often. And we can often get down and in the dumps, overwhelmed, etc., because you're just focused on, you're not thinking in a way that's outside the box that allows new and creative ideas to come to you, new solutions to come to you if it's a particular problem you're working through. So I would like to invite you to become a little bit more curious just in general. Embrace failure, because ultimately failure is just a stepping stone to success. Every failure I've had has been an opportunity to learn something. And honestly, if you keep learning the same lesson, you're obviously not actually learning from it. So I've had this where I've been given the same lesson 2 or 3 times by the universe because I haven't learned the first time and haven't done what was necessary. So therefore it gets thrown my way again. And I see all failures as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to get better, an opportunity to grow. And I sometimes feel embarrassed if things don't go the way I want. But ultimately, there's always a lesson. There's always a silver lining in everything. You've just got to look for it. And that's where the curiosity and the open-mindedness come into it. You've got to view any challenges that crop up, and we all have challenges. Not one person is running a perfect business. Maybe they are. Please come onto the podcast and tell me how you've done it, because I haven't learned to run a perfect business. I've just learned to view challenges as opportunities for growth. I have decided to embrace any failures and learn the lessons and improve upon myself and the business as we go. It's important that we continue to grow as people and as businesses. To stay the same is to stagnate. You can then get bored, particularly as an entrepreneur. You'll then start looking for the next best thing. So I would say let's start viewing challenges as opportunities for growth and embrace potential changes that you need to make. And finally, two final things to talk about is who you surround yourself with matters. This is why I have coaches for the two areas that I want someone to help keep me accountable. My bodybuilding journey, that's a lot of commitment and I need a lot of accountability because there's so many things that can throw you off track. I also have a business coach because there's so many things that happen in business that can derail you, demotivate you. You can, get your mindset off course. And so I have coaches that surround me. I also make sure I surround myself and spend time with the people that positively energize me, I feel great around, because there's no point in surrounding yourself with people that are negative, that do not believe in what you're doing. They just energy drainers. So think about who you have around you. Could you be part of something that will help elevate your vibration, your energy, your business, up level your business, etc.? Think about who you are hanging around with. Think about who you are listening to, watching, reading, etc., and the people in your life. If you are looking for help, if you're looking for a community of people, come drop me a DM. If you are looking to join a group of people that are all up leveling their landscaping businesses, get in contact. I have a space left on the mastermind that is currently running. If you are a landscaper and that's looking to up level your business, it's definitely for you. And also, if you're looking for one-to-one coaching, I do offer that separately to the mastermind group as well. So I do offer one-to-one coaching with people in the landscaping industry that are looking to have someone that will hold them accountable, support them, help elevate their business or themselves, get them out of overwhelmed, get a plan together, focus on their goals, and essentially have someone there that's going to be the biggest cheerleader in your business. Finally, do you do anything for yourself? They're all important you time. It's setting aside some time to be you. For me, mine is going to the gym. That's 5 days a week. I go to the gym 7 days a week. I do cardio training. So essentially, that's my me time. I focus on that. Otherwise, I am not a very nice person. My mindset goes off. I'm not in the same energy. It doesn't work for me. So I have to create that time for me. It does mean a lot of planning. It does mean planning when I can go, what times, because obviously I have a family, I have businesses, I have so many after school clubs at the moment that it's ridiculous. I think I have 1 day a week off of after school clubs. So it takes a bit of managing, but I never say I don't have time because it's really important to me. And I think that's the key. If you think something is that important, you will make time for it. I don't care what it is. Look at the people who make time to go down the pub all weekend and after work on a Friday. Do you think that time could be well spent somewhere else? Yes. Do you think they're saying I haven't got time to go to the gym? Yes. Do you think they're saying I haven't got time to go on that bike ride or lose that weight? Yeah, of course they are. But they actually make time to go to the pub. Think about what you are making time for and what you keep making the excuse that you haven't got time for that is really important to you. It might be important to business growth. It might be important to personal growth. But either way, there will be something that you're saying you haven't got time for that actually, if you look at your life, you probably have. It's about committing to yourself first and then getting the rest done around it. And that is it today. I want you to slowly think about letting go, be a bit more kind to yourself. I don't actually care anymore what people think. I'm slowly getting to the point of, I don't care. I get done what I get done. What doesn't get done, it's not the end of the world. I can do it the following day or whenever, as long as I try and plan it, as long as I get things done that are important. And you might say everything's important. Yes, it is, but there's some stuff that is way more important than others. And that will depend on your business, on yourself, who you have around supporting you. Maybe this is your call to outsource some stuff to free you up, so that they're doing some of the stuff so you don't have to worry about the crap stuff that you don't want to deal with that tends to end up on your plate. I don't know, maybe this podcast episode has just made you think, what could you do for you? Maybe you're thinking this is absolutely shit, I'm turning it off. It's up to you too. But essentially, I think we all need to give ourselves a bit of a break. Running a business is hard. So is being a person in the world and having so much expectation from us, from people around us, from family, from friends, from everything really. And I think if you can start not caring a little less, caring a little less, not worrying if you haven't completed your entire to-do list today, not worrying if, you didn't get that done today. Is someone going to die? Most of the time, no. Unless you're a surgeon, definitely not. So just give yourself a bit of a break. Be kind. Know that you are not Superwoman or Superman, and just stop giving a fuck. And that's the end for this week. But I will be back next week, hopefully another sunny day. It'd be great if we had sunshine from now on and we could all get our landscaping works done on time, to budget, making profits. The key, isn't it? So let's keep our fingers crossed for great weather. Anyway, that's it from me. If you need any help, of course, please get in touch. I am the Landscapers Coach. I am here to support you guys on your business journeys. And if you need any help with that, just drop me a DM or drop me an email. I look forward to seeing you next week after all of the birthdays and parties are over, and I will be a little bit even more chilled than I am now. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next week.